Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So in this video we are going to be learning how to pad a female dress, that is the hip and the butt. So the padding is going to start from the waist. We don't want to pad the whole side of the front, so we are just going to be padding little at the front from the waist to the nail line, and for the back we are going to be padding from the waist to half of the butt at the back. You see, we will make the back wide, that is the padding will be wide at the back, but at the front will just be little as I showed. So the back padding is going to be as wide as half of it. So let's just get started. We are going to be working on the paper first. So I have from the waist to the nail line, which is 17 inches here, and from the waist to the hip line, which is 9 inches. So yeah, so that is the nail line, the waist. So I'm going to proceed to taking the waist and the bust and the hip measurement. So the waist I'm using here is 30 inches and hip of 36 inches. So I'm just going to divide the waist of 30 inches by 4. Dividing 30 by 4 is 7.5. So I'm going to mark 7.5 at the waist. And going to the hip, I'm going to divide the hip also by 4. That is 36 divided by 4, giving me 9 inches. So I mark 9 inches at the waist. Going to the nail line, the nail line is 32 inches. I'm going to divide it by 4, which is 8 inches. I'm going to mark 8 inches at the nail line. So the nail line 8 inches, the hip 9 inches, and the waist 7.5. So I'm going to connect from the waist to the hip line straight using my ruler. Yeah, so then from the hip line to the nail line using my French curve. So I'm going to connect from the nail line to the and from the hip line to the nail line with a French curve. So after getting the waist to the nail line pattern, we are going to be using this pattern to cut the padding, to cut the pad. So we have the pattern already. The next thing is to cut the pad. This is the pad we are going to be using foam, and it is ½ inch. Depending on how well you want to pad the hip and the butt, you can use 1 inch foam or even beyond 1 inch, but 1 inch and ½ an inch is what we normally use for padding hip and butt. So let's mark for the back, because we are not filling the entire back with pad. We are going to mark like this. So we have to mark it like this. We don't want to fill the entire back with pads, so you have to mark like this, then cut as we mark this pattern in 2 places, that is for the right and the left butt. You can trace this on the foam. We are going to be needing 2 of these, that's for the right and the left butt. So I have 2 already, the left and the right butt. So we are done with the back padding. The next thing is to cut the front padding, and we don't want the front padding to be as big as the back padding, so the front pad is going to be a little bit smaller than the front padding. That is, we are going to cut this paper again. So you have to cut this paper in this shape Remember, we are not tampering with the hip side of the paper of the pattern. So you are going to cut the paper into the size of the front padding before tracing on the foam. So you can now trace on the foam. You can trace the pattern on the foam now. Remember, we also want 2 of the front padding. So after cutting this, you have to cut another front padding again. Now we have 2 front padding and 2 back padding. So we are done with cutting the padding. The next thing is the gum camber. So this is called gum camber. Gum camber, it has face and the back. This shiny part of it is the side that has gum that can be gummed to other things, and it is more like fabric. So we are going to gum the gum camber to the padding, both side, back and front, leaving at least seam allowance of half an inch around the paddings. So I have gummed them to it. As you can see, I leave some sewing allowance so we can join the paddings together. So the next thing is to pick 1 back padding and 1 front padding and join them together. But we are not going to be sewing on the foam. We are only going to be sewing the seam allowance. We are going to be sewing on the seam allowance, on the sewing allowance. So I'm going to do that. So after sewing, you get this. As you can see, we didn't match. I did not match on the foam. I will only sew on the sewing allowance. So you are going to have this. So this is the back padding. So we are going to place it like this. Remember, the big side is for the back padding and the small side is for the front padding. So by doing this, you have padded the hip and the butt, because we have increased the hip and we have also increased the butt. And remember, this will be inside the lining. It's not going to be visible even if you turn the cloth to the bad side. It's not going to be visible. It is going to be in between.